This is episode 221, a Firehose of Unfrozen Vanilla Ice Cream.
Where we ask questions like, is the upside down of ding, dang? It's the tone control.
This is not.
Oh my God, we're going to find out.
This is not as cool as I wanted it to be when I started out. Okay. All right. So I was just, while the theme music was playing, I had to, my koozie was on backwards. So if I was going to take a sip, it would have had an upside down ding with respect to the camera. And that's just a level of unprofessionalism that we don't tolerate here at the Tone Control.
Is the upside down of ding, dang?
No, it's
dung.
It's Gnid. Obviously, it's Gnid. What are you talking about?
I like my joke better. Ding dang.
Ding dang.
We're off to a good start. I'm feeling good.
Fired up. Oh, my God.
I got a lot of sleep last night. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh,
and
yeah?
I'm feeling refreshed, feeling charged, feeling good.
Sweet.
Feeling like, yeah, feeling nice.
I've had a chop full day of, we're scrambling. So we're having new floors put in tomorrow morning. And we got back from our trip. We had what should have been a weekend of sort of recovering. And I actually had some work to catch up on because I had some things that had to be done before Monday. And then my kid's friend's birthday party was happening. We had to zip off to that. And then they invited us back to their house to hang out, and they're the ones that have a pool. So anyway,
is it still stinking hot out there? Like,
no, actually,
do you need the pool?
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
But it's just like hanging out at their house is awesome.
That's cool.
You do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You do it.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it was a lot today. So it's like getting through all the work that I had to try to catch up on. My inbox, like 35 emails deep inbox. It drives me crazy. I hate that.
Yep.
I hate having unread emails. And then I had to keep caught up with the lawn. And then when the girls get home, it's like, well, we have to clean up the clutter. Like everything that's knickknacks, we want to get out because I don't want those. Like they're going to like move furniture from one side of the house to the other side of the house several times, right, as they're moving through. But I don't want them to have to worry about anything breakable or knickknacky things or anything like that. So we're like, that seems sort of daunting at first. Of course, it only took us like 20 minutes, but I was like rushing around and the girl's got to play cello and she's got to do this and she's got, we got to feed dinner. But then it all worked out okay. And here I am. So
there's a bunch of mental admin with stuff like that.
It is. It's getting back to the swing of things.
The motions, getting into the swing of it. Yeah.
But
when did you get back?
We got back on Friday evening. Yeah, we swung by. So our trip obviously was out to see you guys, and then we went to Vermont. We had a really, really good time. The weather was like brutally hot the first couple of days, and then that's when the temperature broke. But this park this resort we went to, this was Smuggler's Notch is where we went in Vermont, which is like ski resort is its inception, but they have to run year round. So they put up like a bunch of pool water parky type things all around where all the condos are. So you just go on awesome water slides and stuff for a couple of days. And then once it cools off, then we go do our other things. We did horseback rides and we went to the Ben and Jerry's factory, which by the way,
I've been there.
Oh my God, the air in that place.
Yeah, it's sweet.
You can feel. Yeah, oh my God, you can just. It's something else. It really is.
Did you go to the Flavor Graveyard?
Yes. We went to all the dead flavors.
Yeah.
A bunch of them have QR codes. They have like voice acted history readings of their things. Wow. Yeah.
I went when I was probably like 15. It was a long time ago now, but that's a cool spot. It's a lot of fun.
It's cool, yeah. And it doesn't take too long or anything. You do their ice cream making tour. Actually, while we're on our little tour, they show us like you go on this kind of catwalk thing and you're above the factory floor. And it's like today they were making Cherry Garcia. And here's how we do the things. And here's the base. Everything about Ben & Jerry's is actually all the non-chocolate flavors are the same base, right? And then they're mixing in whatever they mix in. And they talk about how they homogenize it, and then they do this thing, and then it all goes in and it gets frozen for this many minutes. But before that, it actually goes through another homogenizer, which adds air bubbles, and that's what keeps it from settling out as it's freezing. And she's telling us about all this stuff, and we notice there's a lady who's her job on the line seems to be if the lids don't go on right or if something else is wrong, she pulls them off the line before they feed into the it's like right at the end, before the pints feed into wherever the receptacle is, right? So this is filled ice cream. The lids are all getting put on this machine. And she grabs like 5 or 6 of them real quick. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Something must have been funny about those. And then
she's got an eye for it.
Right. And she filters them into a bucket real there and sets them aside, And then it happens again. And then she just starts, like a minute or so later, she's going crazy. She's pulling everything off the line. There's like 9 rows of pints that are all like getting lidded at the same time and then feeding onto this conveyor belt. Yeah. And she's like full arm, she's sweeping and it's going. No. And then, so something's jammed and like the lids aren't getting on and part of it's jammed up. And so then the flow slows down a little bit because some of them are blocked up further down. And then I'm like, well, she's starting to get a break. But no, that was worse. Then pretty soon, ice cream is literally pouring off into like 55-gallon drums because it's not getting into the pint buckets. And it's like there's like a fire hose of unfrozen vanilla ice cream going into and there's like one other person who sort of checks in with her a little bit and then goes off to do something else. It's like, why is nobody stopping the line right now? There's other people there's like 5 or 6 other people and they're all like going about their day. You know what I mean? They're all like, my job is to clean the thing, and they're spraying it down and washing it with a sponge and then moving on to the next one. It's like, will somebody
meanwhile,
please?
Jessica over here is fighting for her life.
She's going like this. She's taking them on the floor. She's got a new bucket. She fills it this. She wheels over a 55-gallon drum and she is arm sweeping them in. Meanwhile, on the other side, there's a fire hose of ice cream. And then I see it goes over the top. It's filled a giant drum and it's going onto the floor. The whole floor is white. And one of these other people decides, I guess I'll intervene insofar as I'll move that and move another 55. Pretty soon there is 2 or 3 full ones and it's still spraying. It's going everywhere. And that's how we left them. I mean, I don't know.
Like, wouldn't you kind of drop everything and be like, oh my God.
Right?
Like, all hands on deck. Let's fix the thing.
And our tour guide is like, it's funny. Yesterday there was some problem. I have no idea what's going on. I can't speak to that. I'm sorry. I don't, some problem. Anyway, I'm going to go back to my spiel now and continue to talk while everybody's not paying attention.
Everybody's watching.
We're all like, oh my God, another bucket's full. Nobody's paying attention to this poor girl.
Oh man!
And then they're like, oh, and then we're gonna have little tastes of ice cream for you at the end. Yeah. There are these little paper cups. They're like the little tiny like ketchup that you'd have ketchup in. But there's like
that hasn't changed in 20 years.
Scoop of ice cream in it. No, it's like almost the size of a baseball. And I was like, what the? Are you serious?
Yeah.
I like picked one up. I was like, all right, we're sharing one. Like we don't need.
You don't need. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so
when
crazy.
I went, they were doing R&D on new recipes.
Nice.
And one recipe they were testing that they let us try had Pop Rocks in it.
Oh,
and I don't think it didn't make it to market. And I feel like really special about having tried this thing that was never never put on the shelves.
I overheard somebody telling their kid what Pop Rocks are while I was there.
I wonder if it's in the graveyard.
It might be in the graveyard. I wonder if I just didn't notice. All of the stuff in the R&D room this time they were actually non-dairies. So there weren't any original flavors, but they were green lids and a couple of white lids. And so the green ones are soy-based. Anyway, but they were non-dairy of one form or another. One of them was, I think it was some kind of nut milk or something.
Okay.
Maybe. So anyway, yeah. That's what they were currently testing.
Right on. That sounds like it was a fun trip.
Yeah, and we did go to that. So then, before we got there, we stopped off and visited with my brother and I got to see Adam Poliquin, by the way.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, because I was in Portsmouth, and then we were standing there, and I was showing Aria the harbor, and I was like, and there's Portsmouth Naval Shipyard where my friend Adam works. And so I just like snapped a little picture of my daughter gazing at the shipyard to him, and I was like,
yeah.
Are you doing anything after work? So he swung by. He came by the game. We were just hanging out in that board game store.
Yeah,
chatting
great
because
store.
It's a cool spot. I got this, which is a.
Oh yeah, I have.
You have one of those?
Yeah, I have the Millennium Falcon one.
Oh, that's awesome. See, I would have picked up Millennium Falcon, but they
didn't really survive a few moves at the desk. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, they were out of that particular one, so I have the X-wing.
Right on.
Yep.
Love it.
Pretty sweet. Haven't put it together yet, obviously. Anyway, I think that's long enough prattling for me. But
that's great. I'm glad you got to see Adam and your brother,
spur of
course.
the moment,
but like,
Adam's
Adam's a
really
name
cool.
I haven't heard. Yeah, Adam Poliquin's a name I haven't heard in a very long time. So that was exciting. That's all. Cool. Trying to think. Jack turned a month old yesterday. So like for all those playing along at home, that's what's going on here. Things he loves: boobs and naps.
Yeah.
Things he hates: hiccups, at least once a day, usually more. So it's tough.
What are you gonna do? What are you
Baby
gonna
hiccups. Do? I feel bad. Then he gets frustrated. Then it gets worse, and it's a whole thing. But yeah, we're hitting a stride. My sister's coming up tomorrow for a couple of days. Then she takes off, and my parents actually come up the next day. So we were like having this revolving.
You cannot get rid of people.
Not yet. Yeah. I think after my parents, they're coming up because they're going on this huge vacation to Europe pretty soon and they want to see us before they go. So that's that. And my sister was like busy getting married the whole time we were in labor. So we haven't seen much of her either. Right. So she's going to stay here for a few days, help out, hang out. I'm still working and stuff. So like just an extra set of hands again, which is handy. It's helpful to have people around. So, yes. What else? That's kind of the deal. I mean, each day is a little bit of a different routine where like the variables change a little bit. They shrink a little bit every day, you know, like you figure out like a thing that he likes and what works for bedtime and what works for bath time. And then you do that every time instead. A thing that works
more than once. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're trying to, mental list of things that like, okay, what are his needs? Like hungry, diaper, tired, wants to be swaddled, wants to be held. Like there's a short list of stuff, right? And you go through all the things and you're like, which one is it? Which one is it? And then it's none of them. And then you're like, what is it, dude? Like, what do you want? So yeah,
this is the moment, dude. Now you have to figure out a second sound.
Yeah, you're right.
Or I'll never know.
Yeah, so parenting thing they didn't prepare me for, number, 783. Babies make a lot of noises that aren't crying, which I wasn't expecting. There's like a lot of like stretch noises, like strains and grunts and snorts and burps and farts.
And it's like not it's like he's not having a problem.
No, he just one day he figured out how to stretch, like waking up, big stretch, and he does that for hours, and just kind of figured out that stretching feels good, and so makes a lot of stretch grunty noises and stuff where he'll kind of like hold his breath a little. I'll do that.
That's adorable. Oh my God. I don't think my kid ever did that.
It's hilarious, but until it's like 2 a.m. and you're just like, bro,
bro.
He does it all night.
You're supposed to wait till the morning.
Yeah. And then of course, whenever you unswaddle him, it's like, victory, like the huge arms up. Guy, you're like 30 days old. Take it easy. Stretching like an old man. Yeah. I knew about burps and farts. Baby farts are hilarious. I just need everyone to know
and farts too, just so everybody at home knows.
Yeah, just all the extra noises that aren't like fussing and crying. Anyway, kind of want to get into the show because I have other cool things to share, but it's guitar related, so we should probably talk about it.
Okay, well, let's do it then. I'm going to intro the Pedal Genie. Thanks to those clowns. Oh boy.
Thanks to Pedal Genie for sponsoring the tone control. Visit pedalgenie.com and start your wish list today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start that wish list, baby.
Start it. So what the new Patreon tiers have arrived. And in fact, we added a tier even beyond what we said we were gonna add, because they forced our hand. They forced our hand.
Yeah, so we now have $1, $2, $3, $5, and $10 tiers. I'll be honest with you. The difference between the 5 and 10 is literally just that it costs 10. And you get a extra special tag in Discord. But that's it. That club is called the Big Daddy Cool Club. So what happened was we started the new tiers and people were updating their pledges as we asked, because if you're in the $2 tier and you're paying $5, I can't give you the extra stuff that comes with the 5 because you're in the 2. You know what I mean? So you got to update your thing.
You got to drive that car a little bit.
Yeah, because some of it's automated by Patreon to release certain things to certain tiers. So people were doing that, and then some people were feeling extra generous and started pledging extra, and somebody pledged $10, and I was like, holy hell, that's a lot of money. That's great. And then I was like, I'll make a Discord role and a special tier for one person. Screw it. And then another person joined it. So now we have the Big Daddy Cool Club. We have I already forgot the names of the tiers.
Okay, so that's the other controversy though, because here's the thing. We went over all these names. And the names of the tiers, and one of them was the Super Club, the regular Duper Club.
Hang on. Regular Duper Club for $1.
Yep.
Which gets you a shout out in every episode and some Patreon exclusive stuff. The Super Duper Club, which is our previous maximum tier, shout out in the episode, Patreon stuff, and access to our live recording channel where you can hang out with us now on Monday nights. Then we have what was going to be the Super Dingus Club,
which we talked about on the show, and nobody said anything back to me. First of all, this is precisely the personality of this show. So here's what happened. All those go live, and then everybody starts changing their things and realizing that they're in the Super Dingus Club, and that's a pejorative. And that's the moment. They waited till that moment to go, wait a minute, I'm not a
dingus.
Are you sure you want to be insulting people who are paying you money? I'm like, first of all, what fucking show do you think this is? What have you been listening to for years now that convinced you to give us money but didn't convince you that we want to call you dinguses and that you should want to be called that? Second of all, every YouTuber that I follow who eventually sets up subscription tiers insults their people, and it's part of it, okay? And then anyway, the point is, whatever.
So here's the deal. Justin was on
so we changed it.
Justin was on vacation. And I was like, I'm not going to die on this hill. Fine. You're the Super Double Duper Club. So that's what you are now. But just know that you're actually all super dinguses. Okay? So that's the $3 tier, which gets you a shout out and all the other stuff. But you also get a monthly hangout with me and Justin in Discord, which we're working on scheduling.
We're going to definitely put up that first poll, by the way, this
week.
In the next couple of days, we'll figure out what this month's day will be.
And then early access to podcast episodes via Patreon, which has an RSS feed, so you can pull it into your podcatcher apps. Stems from pedal demos and a 10% off code for our merch store, which we're still dialing in as well. And then the $5 tier is the Executive Producers Chairs Club, all that stuff, but a 20% off coupon. And now we also have the Big Daddy Cool Club, which is exactly the same as the Executive Producers Chairs Club, but you're paying $10 for it, and that deserves some recognition.
Yeah. It's just it's wrapped in fake gold foil or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
it's all
what else? The pedal demo folder has been cleaned up and pushed out to patrons. So if you're in that $3 tier and up, check your Patreon inbox because there's a link to a Dropbox folder in there with pedal demos, which you can do whatever you want with. We're leaving that up to you. Listen to them, remix them,
right. I mean, there are stems in there, so there are the guitar tracks. In that folder is all the ancient drum loop things that I made that Derek used to use, and then in the before Logic days. So then Logic Drummer makes its own thing. So all of the demos since then will have a Logic Drummer track with them. They'll all be associated, but you can see all that stuff. And if you need help decoding it, I guess just ask me in Discord or something. But it's pretty self-explanatory. For the most part, I'm just copying. Most of them are Pro Tools sessions. So you'll find the stems within the audio files folder. It's pretty easy. A couple things got mixed in Reaper, but that's just in an audio files folder, so it's whatever. And then 2 or 3 of them, I can't remember why, but I actually did in UAD Luna, and Luna saves things weird. It doesn't have a folder, and I didn't feel like messing around with it. So instead of, and for some reason it was like a pedal demo, it was like 3.5 gigabytes.
Cool.
And I was like, what are you even talking about? There's no way. It's like 30 seconds long. I don't care how many tracks it is. So I was like, something's up. Luna is very proud of the way that they do their file management. Like there is no save button in Luna. It's like a constantly edited database. So
like Final Cut does that.
Yeah, it's like never not saved. And it's not because it's continually saving. It's because you're like directly modifying. So I don't know. Maybe that 3.5 gigabytes contains like all of the undo. I mean, but why would it be audio? It just doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, there's a couple that I don't think are actually there, and they might be like an empty folder, but I don't know. Maybe I'll deal with that. But as they come out, as new demos arrive, they'll go up there too. Anyway, so if you're a Patreon subscriber at the tier of what do you have to be? You have to be a dingus for that?
Yeah, $3 and up.
Okay. Then you can
oh, shoot. Eric can't join the chat. I'm sorry, man. I know exactly why that is.
Oh, Discord permissions. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep talking then. I have so anyway, so that folder is up with all the stems. So you can play around with them, you can listen to them, you can make them, you know, I don't know, do whatever you want. Maybe it'll be interesting to you. Hopefully it will be. Also going up is, like we said, we're going to have our monthly hangout. That's going to become a thing. And I am going to set up those merch store discount codes, which are not hard to set up. I'll do that like tomorrow morning or something like that. So those will definitely be up probably before this episode comes out. So, and that's it. And so episodes, you get early access to episodes, depending on your tier too. So those will be, like Derek said, that can be, you can put that early access RSS feed into your podcatcher, or YouTube. They'll also get a special private link to the YouTube before it goes public.
Okay.
Don't they? Like,
I didn't know that.
we can do that. I know you did it with one other video.
Yeah, that's right. We can do that. Yeah, I'll have to think about that, because I was just a pain. It may actually be easier than the way I was doing it. That's weird.
Is there anything I missed? Because those coupons are easy to do. I think what I'll do is, well, whatever. Well, we'll send that out in a Patreon email. I don't have to say that on the show. But you'll have access to a code.
If you're a patron, like, keep an eye on your Patreon like inbox, or like the platform there, because we are using it more to talk to folks, and that's where we're going to send like the exclusive things. So just, you know, I know a lot of people don't actually use the Patreon platform other than to like collect money and to like filter users for other platforms like Discord, but I do want to use it more. So anyway,
it's a good way to reach people, because not everybody turns on Discord, and
or vice versa. Update on Planned Parenthood winners.
Okay.
All of
us. Wait. Let me do this. Let me put a sound in for this, because we don't have that many things today. Here.
The Antichthon.
I did a fade out on the short version. The Antichthon, yes.
Yeah, it was cool.
That? Cattle and bread, right?
Cattle and bread, yeah. So, if you caught our Instagram, social media video, the winners plural of the Chatterbox Effects Loud Louder are Andrew Walsh. Woo! Way to go, buddy. And in emailing with Chad that we raised like $1,000 for Planned Parenthood, he was like, dudes, that's so amazing. Pick a second winner, and I'm going to throw in a Renew buffer. So Matthew Fenslaw, you're the winner for that. Congrats.
Yay.
Very excited for that. Yeah, like I said, we raised $1,000 even. Like between matches and donations and stuff. Yeah. Everybody's matching and all that stuff. $1,000 went to Planned Parenthood. And I am so incredibly proud of that. Just like shout out to everybody. Like that fucking rules.
Yeah, what a great reason to do all this Patreon stuff. You know? Kind of like It's I don't know. What else can I say? We've sort of said it a bunch of times.
We're way over on that. But we're working with Chad. We'll get those things out to you soon. And I don't know, just round of applause for everybody. Yeah, good job, guys. Awesome shit.
Working out the shipping and stuff now. So
yes.
All right. Do you want to hear another sound?
Right. Yeah, why not?
Great. Fuck it.
Is that the Monument?
Yes. Another recent one.
Nice. Walrus Audio.
Walrus. All right.
So, hey, man, guess what?
What? Is it to do with guitars?
It is. I'm going to put a link in the chat to a thing in a second. My Novo Serus J is arriving tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
How well timed.
Yeah. I know. I'm so fucking excited. Guys, you can gestate a human being faster than you can get a Novo. So I'm going to put a link. I'm burping. Sorry. Oh, this is a shitty link, but just trust me. Oh, there it goes. It was just an image.
Oh, it's just a picture. That's fine.
That's not my guitar, but I got this model with this type of spec. Mine will just be a different color. They don't have a photo of mine, like an artsy photo of mine ready. So I'll have to take one when it gets in. But this is the Serus J. It is like clearly Jazzmaster inspired by Novo, designed and built by Dennis Fano and stuff like that. So it's a tempered pine body. I got a chunky C flame maple neck, blocks and binding on the rosewood fretboard, stainless steel frets. Mine will be candy apple red with a matching headstock and a 5-ply black pickguard with black pickup covers and then chrome appointments and witch hat knobs like that. So
that pine body with the pronounced grain is pretty neat.
Yeah, the raised grain thing. It's fucking wicked. So I have a couple like in progress photos. Actually, I can post those in the chat if you want to pull them up.
All right.
One moment, please. What have I done to my Discord app? It is very red, and I'm really into that. Red is actually my favorite color, and I haven't owned a red guitar in a long time. Here we go. Here's a few more.
Ooh.
Ding. So yeah, there it is on the bench.
Cool.
They route all of their guitars for 3 pickups. Mine will only have 2. Fun fact, Fender routes their Strats for HSH these days, in case you didn't know. But it'll have a mastery bridge and trem. And there's some more pictures in the chat. You can see that grain structure a little differently. Oh, it's so cool, right?
Really good.
Really good. So it will be here tomorrow, and I could not be more excited about it. I have been on this list for this guitar since May of 2021, and here it is, August of 2022. What do I do with my life now that it's here? I don't know. Same thing with the baby. Like I've been leading up to all of these things, and now they're all just like
a car.
I don't know. Maybe
a car
maybe
goes.
Car candy apple red, but fucking stoked. Stoked. It cost me a lot of money. I saved up for a fucking really long time. And it's my graduation gift to myself because on Monday I enter my final class for graduate school. And, in 10
all
weeks,
wrapped up.
or 11 weeks from today, actually, I'll be all done. So crazy pants. Everything's coming together. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Crazy pants bananas.
Mm-hmm. So what if I don't graduate? Then I have to give it back.
Then you call him up. So,
hey guys,
the return policy on this.
I've been waiting a super long time. Yeah. Obviously, they had to delay it. Unfortunately, like it was supposed to be a year. Did I tell you this? I don't think I told this story on the podcast. I know I mentioned it in Discord. So they have a zero duds policy, they call it. And if anything is wrong, they'll just scrap it and rebuild it. So they had to rebuild the neck on mine, and it pushed it out from like late May, early June until now. So that's what's been taking so long.
Well, that's funny. So I wonder what was up with the neck.
I don't know.
Damn.
No idea.
Damn.
I don't know if they would tell me. They just said they said it doesn't meet their standards. You know, it could be.
It sucks. It's a shit neck.
Sucks. It's a shit neck. I don't know. Maybe it was warped.
It was a person's neck. Misspelled it. He's like editing his chat message while I'm trying to read it. Perwasen.
It was a human neck. That's right.
It was an actual neck. They were like, "Oh shit, this isn't how it's supposed to go."
So anyway, prepare for Discord and everywhere else to be absolutely flooded with me annoying the hell out of everyone about how I'm into this guitar. So that's tomorrow.
Buckle up for the live stream, the live receiving from the mailman stream.
No, I am doing a live stream on Thursday night though to go over the pedal Genie pedal. So I'll totally be using the Serus J. You can come check that out. I'm still dialing in a time, but it will be kind of in the evening nowish. So
evening Eastern
time. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So buttons. So does that mean we're moving on to?
Yeah, let's move on. That's all I have to say. Like,
right.
I haven't had a Novo update in a long time, and I was like, guess what? It's fucking here.
Guess what, bitch? All right. Well, you know, it's one of those Carolines because that Havoc switch there at the end.
Yeah, kilobyte.
Yeah. All right. So now the time has come to talk about something different, and it is this. So what is this?
Here's the thing.
What is
this? So actually, a little while ago, we made a new channel in our Discord server called Gear Marketplace, and that's a place for folks. Patrons and regular people alike to
market their places. No.
Yeah, to marketplace their gear, to market their gear.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can, we're totally cool with people like buying, selling, trading, facilitating sales in our server. I've not talked to Justin about this. I just like made it so.
Well, I mean, obviously it's fine.
Yeah. So people were kind of like talking about it. People were talking. Yeah, we got a sweet commish.
Trade in my domain. Okay.
People were talking about like, oh, send me a DM. Or can we? Where do we talk about this? And so we just made a channel. People can post things for sale. And yeah, feel free to do that in our space. Mm-hmm. So one of our community members and Patreon supporters, Matt, was selling a ton of pedals. And I made a spreadsheet, sent it out to the group, and was like, hey, here's a spreadsheet. Here's what I'm getting rid of. What do you guys want? And that was cool. So I bought from him the Keeley Caverns V2, and I wanted to talk about it because it is awesome, and I'm really glad I got it.
Sweet.
So it's a delay and reverb pedal, and it's just one delay on the right side, reverb on the left, and it's kind of an analog voice delay, and then a few different kinds of reverb. So there's shimmer, spring, and modulated. And I like modulated the most, I think. I find that
it's because of that modulation, cool. I bet.
It's the modulation. It gets you every time.
That's what does it.
Shimmer's cool, but I think Strymon has that really on lockdown, and it's really hard for anyone to do a better job than they do. So,
it's funny. I tried to make a shimmer reverb it was actually a special effect I used in a podcast of all things. But there was like something where I wanted something weird to happen, and I tried to like make a shimmer reverb with like this massive chain of effects that are feeding into one another, and then this would circulate and change the pitch and then feed back into that, and it was kind of wild. And it was like, this is why people just make a plugin or a pedal, right, that does the shimmer thing. It's like, yeah, you can go nuts trying to build them.
Strymon has like some graphic on how they do theirs, and it's like things that cascade and feed into each other, but then it's like an octave up, and it's madness. Here's what the Caverns one sounds like. So it's up there.
Yeah, so like delayed bloom business. Yeah, I dig that. It's cool, right? But yeah,
let me crank it up a little.
It is like the one
kind of orchestral.
Yeah.
There's like some motion to it. So there's that. And then there's a spring setting. Dial this back to a more normal thing. And
it's like a
the
big
modulated
hollow room. Yep. Oh, it's so short. There it goes.
So that's the modulated one. It just has like a little more interest to it without being so distracting like the shimmer. So I leave it on that one. Versus.
Yeah, there's so much extra tone, extra like overtones and stuff in shimmer. Yeah. I know that's like the point of it, but it's still like kind of becomes.
It can very quickly become too much. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. So, and then the delay has also like some modulation settings. You can set it to off, low, or high, basically. So this is the regular analog delay tone. Set it to low. So you hear a little wow and flutter in the repeats there. And then it's a deep
quite a
mode,
bit, actually.
So.
Yeah.
That's nothing. And there's a rate knob for that, so you can slow that down. But it still gets a little too seasick, I think. I kind of like it on the lower settings, on the low mode, or just off. So, but altogether, with both sides on, I think it's great.
Yeah, really nice.
It's like a more in-depth version of the Dispatch Master.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember the Dispatch from EQD?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to share. Like, this is not a new pedal, but it's a new to me pedal, and I think it's awesome. What does that say? 650 milliseconds of delay?
That's what it says.
There's no tap tempo. No tap or anything like that. It'll do stereo with like a split cable. But there's no expression in, nothing like that. It's otherwise a pretty simple delay.
It's got tails if you want it to have tails.
Yep.
Let's see,
knobs for all the usual delay things. Mix, what do they call it? Blend. Mine is like face down on the desk a little bit here. So blend, time, repeats, and then rate for the modulation. If that is in fact on. There you go. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It does stereo? I think it does. I saw in the marketing materials for it that they had an image with like a split cable. I'm assuming that's what that means. I didn't read into it too much because I'm not about to set that up, but I think it has a TRS connector. There you go.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Just like that. You will need 2 of them suckers because you got to get stereo in, right?
Oh, wait a minute. Internal. Is this an effects loop or is it stereo?
Or with a pro switching system? No, it says left effect.
Okay.
Another effect, chain
it
of
lets
effects
you
or
use
amplifier.
each side. It lets you use each side with a loop switcher. Okay. Like a true bypass looper.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's
so
cool.
It isn't
It's not stereo. Sorry,
stereo.
I saw this earlier and was like, oh,
they describe it as left effect and right effect, but they're not talking about left and right stereo of the effect. They're talking about the pedal, the physical pedal, like the delay is on one side,
the left, on the right. Yeah, okay. That is cool though. Like I don't use a true bypass looper, but the fact that you can separate them into one of those is radical.
There's some dip switches. According to this, there's some dip switches inside that need to be set as well. So
sick. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, right. Like Eric is saying, like it's not like something that most people will get into, but boy, if you're the type of person who wants to use it that way, it's like you have to have that. There's no way around it, otherwise it's useless. Useless.
Matt's gonna get another one because he sold his to me at a crazy good price. Sucker. No, I'm kidding. Thanks for the killer deal, Matt. I do really love it. It is on my board a lot now these days.
Cool.
Maybe I'll also use that on the live stream this weekend or on Thursday.
Yeah.
So should we talk about Pedal Genie?
We should, and so apparently the GIF is going to be
sports
and balls and the balls of sports. So, I hope you're ready for that. What else can I do?
Pedal Genie is like the Netflix of guitar pedals. Rent any pedal you want for as long as you want, for one low monthly price. Shipping is included and there are no late fees or time limits. With over 1,500 pedals to try from nearly 100 different manufacturers, Pedal Genie definitely has the gear you want to try. Subscriptions start with Flex at just $22 a month. Try out one pedal at a time for as long as you want. Send it back when you're ready for the next one. For only $47 a month, the standard subscription includes shipping, so you could have a different pedal every few days. If one isn't enough for you, Pedal Genie Pro gets you 3 pedals at a time for only $77 a month. Shipping included. There's a subscription for everyone, and best of all, your first month is free. If you find the pedal of your dreams, the one you just have to keep, Pedal Genie will offer you a buyout option. Prices vary with the length of your membership and the type of pedal, but you'll definitely get an awesome price for the pedal in your hand. So head to pedalgenie.com to fill up your wishlist with pedals, and they'll send out your first pedal ASAP. Pedal Genie. All your pedal wishes granted.
Did you see that ludicrous display last night?
Oh, man. I've talked about the IT crowd a lot this week, actually.
Yeah.
It's Monday, but as in since last Monday, I've talked about the IT crowd a bunch. Early recommendation for me this week, the IT crowd. I believe it's on Netflix. Go watch it.
Yeah, that's a brilliant and not a strong. You tell some people about shows, and it's like, oh my God, there was like 8 seasons of that show. What if I follow your advice and get into it? This show ran for one short season, and the idiots in charge did not keep it going, and so there you are.
Yeah, there's 25 episodes total.
Yeah,
and
they're good.
They're all outstanding. Anyway, I have a pedal from UA.
What are we gonna do about this, Derek?
What are we gonna do about UA?
What are you gonna do about the Universal Audio?
I think
it's so pompous that they even name themselves that. First of all, let's just start
Universal Audio.
Universal Audio. What cojones, right? Right? Anyway, I like a lot of UA stuff, but boy, does it cost money.
Yeah, this pedal's $400.
Yeah. They own the patents for a lot of important like pieces of recording gear, like the 1176 compressor, and I mean that's not without clout, like the sorts. But I don't know. It's like they. Well, I don't know. They on the other side of that they did just finally break from always having DSP on their. So they have that line of interfaces now that doesn't have DSP. So like they're actually in a competitive price range with like Focusrite and stuff with their entry level interfaces and stuff. So, but they, so I don't know. They're not going to do that with a guitar pedal though. Why would they want to compete down there with a guitar pedal? What features would they remove?
When these came out, we talked about this. Like, what is it? Like, why are they getting into this market? You know, and it's a $400 modulation pedal. It's a multi-mod. It says right here, chorus, flanging and doubling, and tube tremolo and all that stuff. So, and it's got presets and stereo and USB and like all kinds of crazy shit.
So the thing is, like, what on here stands it out from a $200 modulation pedal, which is already like, you know, shouldn't you be getting what you need out of, you know, it's, unless you're going for the Strymon that can make any sound in the world, or the H9 or something, right? Like these obviously, like, you know.
So I thought about that a little bit. Like this has a foot switch for a preset. What's on the back of this? There's not MIDI, but there's USB. So like I'm sure it's all recallable and stuff like that if you wanted. But it's got an on-off switch and a preset switch. And what's cool is that the preset switch is independent of the bypass. So it's kind of like you have two bypass switches. One activates your preset, and one turns it off. So I like that. That's a cool thing.
That's a really good quality of life. Yeah.
Yep. So like you don't have to turn it on and then go to your preset. You can just
well, that's not the pedal. There we go.
What the frick is going on with my guitar? Why is it not making a sound?
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
I did not, but this was the guitar I was having some trouble with one time ago. Where'd you go, guitar? Come on.
Might be having jack problems.
He's got nothing to do with this. What in the frig? What have I done? God damn it. This sucks.
Oh man.
No, it's not my cable. It's not my jack because it's all right, that works. Stand by. Cut all this out, Jess.
I might. We'll see.
Just a second ago, you all heard it. Oh, here we are.
Volume knob. I think hopefully he thought of that already.
Nope. Come on. What the fuck? Something's going on with, I think one of my patch cables. I built a little board for this.
Okay.
There. Sorry about that. Okay. How embarrassing. So anyway, preset is like, I made this tremolo.
Yep.
And then you just switch it right over to the other side. And you can turn that on or off. It's like two bypasses. It's great. So anyway, the thing about multi-modulation pedals, or pedals like this that have like one preset available, like easily available, is it can do like 5 or 6 effects all in one, but you're kind of only giving yourself access to 2 at a time. And if you want to use
within
those
switch reach.
Yeah, or like out of box, easy use, without having a whole other kind of setup. Additionally, if you wanted to use a tremolo and a flanger, which this can do, you can't use those at the same time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's doing one or the other. So
those are on a
check in the box for individual stomp boxes,
Yeah.
Like you can't combine them. And that's true for a lot of multis.
The other multis where you're really creating a program and it's like then you could just build whatever you want onto it, right?
Yeah, and that's true for other multi effects, not just modulations, but like if you wanted to use 2 of what it offers, or 2 things of what it offers, you often can't do them at the same time. Because it's like, I'm in tremolo mode now, and the knobs are according to tremolo.
Right.
And then you switch it to chorus, and the knobs maybe change their function a little bit, which this does. So you can't.
And with UA's the way of thinking, like they're targeting, like when I was scrolling through these images, like look what pops up.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, this is what they want you to have in your mind when you're using this thing, because that's how UA thinks. Like everything is kind of modeled after something classic. And so there it is. I mean, it's vibrato. You wouldn't be using a flanger at the same time as your tremolo, right? There's a tube tremolo because that's what was in the Fender amp that they modeled.
Of course, but what if you put a flanger pedal in front of that?
Well, then
there
that's
you go.
Not the Astra, because this is the tube tremolo in the back of your Fender. You'd have to have another thing for that other.
That's what I'm saying. That like it's just that kind of use case makes this. And this type of pedal, not just the Astra, makes this type of pedal a little less useful than they're marketed towards, I think. Because like I have all these effects in one box, true. You can only use 1 or 2 at a time.
Right.
So just a thing to keep in mind. So
and it's not like there's 4 switches. If there's 4 switches, then even if they could only run 1 at a time, it's a tougher argument to say that that's really a hindrance. But because of the way it's arranged, you tell it to be one thing, and that's what it is until you reach down there and mess with it again. And then your other thing isn't recallable anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
not a deal breaker. Like this has been true for decades with this kind of stuff at this point. So, is Discord fighting? Like, what are you guys talking about? My God.
An argument down there.
So anyway, let's do some sounds.
Yeah.
So we've got controls for speed, depth, intensity, shade, shape, and mode. Then there's like an A/B toggle. The other mini toggles are spring-loaded, so they just scroll through the sounds, and then
that's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, so to store a preset, the middle switch is always in the up position, and you pull and hold it down to store a preset instead of just pushing
up.
instead of just pushing and holding the preset button, like most pedals of this category, you would push and hold the preset.
It. Yeah. You wouldn't have
I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting choice. And then at least I haven't confirmed this, which we can do on the show, I guess. When you save a preset, it doesn't really indicate that it has saved. It just does.
I think I like it not being a hold the foot switch because I feel like that's a recipe for making a mistake.
Maybe.
Somehow, like you have to use your finger to save over your preset.
Other pedals I had that did that, it was like a 3 or a 5 second hold. It was a long hold, but yeah. So here's a sound. And the other thing is some of these knobs, they're not always applicable to whatever setting you're on. And so it just blinks a light at you like, that knob's not turned on for this sound. And you have to really be familiar with each sound and the layout of the pedal, for that, to know that. Because like the intensity knob, intensity doesn't do anything on this setting. I'm turning it, nothing's happening. Nor does speed. And the thing is, let's talk about some reverb courtesy of the Keeley Caverns V2. It sounds good. Mm-hmm. There are some sounds in here that I think like, that must be like a special UA thing. Like I get why.
What do you mean by that?
Not like the sound itself, but it's just the quality of it. I'm like, this version of this effect sounds great. Way to go, UA. Like it feels like...
Okay, so it is like a particularly
good sample or a good example, a good specimen of the effect.
Well sculpted parameters.
Yeah. So like on this one, the shape knob doesn't do anything, but it's a tremolo. So you would think maybe the shape knob does something to the tremolo shape control.
The tremolo shape, I mean, why doesn't it? Why can't it? But it
doesn't because it's based on that tube trim and the Fender amp.
It had one shape. That was the shape of it's tube shaped.
It will do this other one. Has a lot of good sounds. But I'm here turning knobs, finding out they don't do anything in the current setting I'm in.
Yeah. Does that happen a lot?
Not all 6 knobs work on any one effect, it seems like.
So that's weird. So this is where you'd have another pedal design.
Oh, maybe this one does. Maybe not. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Because other pedals, when they're laid out, and when it's this type of thing, right, you would have them repurpose other, like if there's 3 knobs per effect, just because sometimes it's not speed,
Yeah.
You just give it more than one label or something. And in fact, aren't they?
These aren't.
I guess they're not really. They're not dual labeled. I mean, it's whatever. It's not like they're, having to lose something for the real estate of it. Although they could. I don't know.
So it's not that it's just subtle. It blinks a light at you telling you that this knob is not active. And if you look at the manual, it tells you that. Like certain things are just like this knob is disabled.
It's like.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, so like you can see those 3 lights on the left-hand mini toggle switch. Whichever one is illuminated for whatever setting you're on, it just like rapidly flashes, tells you like that knob doesn't work.
You're touching me in the wrong spot is what it says. Sorry.
So anyway, I mean,
still going on.
It's cool. I would not buy this one personally.
Yeah.
But maybe like, is that because it's modulation? Possibly. I just don't think you need a whole lot of mods in a thing like this where you're saying like, I need all this recallable and stereo and blah, blah, blah. That's just not the kind of player I am. Doesn't mean that there isn't that person. I do think somebody wants this, which is cool. It's a very good version of what it does. It's just a little bit like, I don't know, too little too late, maybe? There's other versions of this type of pedal for $150 less.
Right. And so is this one of those last 2% kind of things? Like there's versions of this, obviously there's versions that won't sound as nice or something like that. And especially if the mood and the feel and texture that you're trying to get is what UA specializes in, is this like capital C classic.
Of course.
It is absolutely modeled to it. It's not even with UA, sometimes it's not even that it's modeled a specific unit. You know what I mean? Like this is not a specific unit, but it's like the feel of, I mean, many times they do model specific units, but in many cases, it's something like this where it's sort of like the feel of the built-in amp modulations. So that's what I'm getting out of this completely is like...
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, there is like that whole, if you like how it sounds, then fuck it. Like the rest doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's
probably the best at exactly that. Like if you tried to rebuild this exact thing in Strymon stuff, if you're the person who is like, the stuff that feels like it's coming from the amp is what I must have, then maybe, I don't know, maybe the Strymon kind of attempts at that don't really satisfy you. Maybe they've always got some extra thing that's tough to get rid of, or they just don't, the parameters aren't, like with this, I bet you can't make this, I bet you can't twist any knob to take it outside of the range of something that actually existed in an amp someday.
Oh yeah, I think you're right there.
Right.
And yeah, so like Matt's calling me out in the chat saying that $150 difference. Yeah, of course. Like I'm exaggerating here for the sake of the podcast. I'm making a point, but it's, I don't know. This is $400. Like that's a lot of money for one pedal. I don't really think this is the one. I don't know. Like it does a lot of cool stuff, and there's a lot of under the hood things too, of course, that like I'm not dealing with. Like so there's an app and shit. Like
Matt's comparing this to like Strymon Mobius. Is this the same? Is this in the same pedal category as Strymon Mobius? Because I think it's certainly not.
I don't think so. Because the Mobius has like much easier recallable presets and like 3 banks and stuff like that.
That's if what you want is presets and much more shapeability, not restricted to the sound of old amps, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. The Boss one is a good example. I don't remember if I've tried that or not. I may have, but yeah, I don't know. I remember when this stuff came out, we were like, UA is getting into this space, huh? Why? And I still feel a little like after this was not the highest one on the list that I wanted to try, but Pedal Genie sent it because it was what was available, and which is fine. Like it's not their fault, but I don't know. It sounds good. Like I'm not knocking the sounds at all. I just think it's
not
really my thing.
This was always going to be about the cost.
Yeah,
and yeah. So what they're calling us out in, I think, is, but we don't say bad things about $400 pedals on the regular. When they are, but those are when they are like highly advanced, computerized, extremely flexible, 400, you're itching
and like
to
adaptable to whatever you want. It's just like this is a little more prescribed. You know, it's doing what it does. It does what it does exceedingly well. Don't get me wrong. I've said that 100 times.
It does a narrow kind of thing. It makes me feel like when they're pricing themselves, and I mean, I don't think they made this thing and said, how much should we charge for it? Like, I think they, you know, companies like this, they don't do it that way. They create the whole idea of the thing all the way down to its cost, and then they work out how to get it there or something, right? Or maybe they adjust if they build. But this is not something where you're not paying for something that has extremely expensive components. That's not what's going on here. You're paying for the label and the care of knowing that this is passed through and been signed off on by, you know, the man himself there. I can't think of his name now. Putnam. Mr.
Audio, Mr. Universal.
Mr. Uncle Audio.
I'm going to make the stupid argument that I have been thinking the whole time.
Uncle Odds.
You're not like priced for dollar per dollar ways. Like you're not kind of that far from an HX Stomp. I know it's not really the same thing at all. But
that's like exactly what I was going for. But what I think is they're not saying like let's be a little less than the Stomp, because obviously we don't do as much as that. I don't think they consider other companies really as much as we do at all. And competitive products. Like I think that they think their product is on a different level because it's narrow. And it is like we want to appeal to the person who doesn't want that other thing, but is willing, but thinks there's value in this specific ooey gooey sound. Their alternative might be literally an amp.
UA's alternative. Yeah.
Right. Or their UA's customer's alternative, right? I want to sell a pedal to somebody who might be choosing between this or an amp at a used shop.
Yeah. What was I just going to say? Shoot. Shit. It's gone. No, it's okay. I was interrupting. It's gone anyway. There's a lot of other pedals in the line.
Stomp, like about, you said that's I don't know.
Frig. Oh, yes, I have it. Okay, so the Walrus Audio M1 is the first thing that comes to mind for this.
Okay.
Because it too is a multi-mod thing with like some preset functionality, the stereo stuff, USB, and it comes in $50 less, right? And it's made by a guitar pedal company for whatever that's worth. Possibly nothing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about that. Like, I don't think there's no build quality, there's no testing issues, there's no sound quality issues with the UA just because they haven't made pedals before.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, first of all, hang on.
It's a brick.
It is fucking huge. So, like, that is one fatal flaw for this. I don't have it here. It's as big as my, it's there. It's on top of my cab. I'm going to grab it. Hold on.
Hold the phone. Hold the phone.
It's as big as the, my old big box small clone. Mm-hmm. So if you're familiar with the EHX,
which, by the way, has like 3 components in it.
Yeah, right. Like that's funny on its own.
It's
but
a tiny little board inside there with like 3 things.
It is a big pedal. It's heavy. Yeah. Something that we don't really concern ourselves with very often as guitarists. This pedal is heavy. So there's that. Not a reason to not buy it. Here it is next to the EP booster. Just for funsies. So yeah, I mean, can it be used as a defensive weapon? I don't see why not. So, like, the thing about the Walrus M1 or pedals like in that category, or even the Mobius, like if you want to get really in depth, I think you're splitting such hairs at a certain point, and this is that last few percent that we've sort of talked about. Like the M1 and pedals at the like are effectively all the same, right? It's effectively the Astra. It has a chorus sound, and if you like it, who cares if it costs $50 more? I don't know. I've gone into this like whole.
So wait, I can't tell which way you're arguing. If you like it,
no, I'm arguing.
Then shouldn't you buy the lesser one, or do you mean what you're deciding on is worth more than $50 when you're comparing between the two of those?
There's always going to be a factor of like buy what you want. Like, just fuck it. If you want this one, by all means, get it. It's cool. That's great. Whatever makes you happy. Yeah. However, I have turned more into a, like, it is effectively this effect, right? Or this sound. It is effectively, like, my overdrive is, you could get into the weeds with, like, it's a tube screamer, it's a blues breaker, it's a clone, whatever. But for me, it's like, this is effectively my main rhythm tone. Full stop. I don't really care too much about what it is. You know, it's just like, this is the main sound. This is a little cleaner. This is a little dirtier. This is my chorus sound. Yeah. And maybe it's a small clone. Maybe it's a Julia, whatever. But I just know I need a chorus sound for this song. I'm not going to get into the weeds on whether it's a CE1 or a JC120 chorus, or if it's a small clone. Like, I'm just going to need a chorus sound, and that'll do the job, because that's all it needs. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not splitting hairs like that anymore, really. I do like to think about it and talk about it, of course, but
it's a different time of conversation. By the time you're actually using the thing, that's what I'm feeling from what you're saying, right? Like, by the time we're actually using it, then this is my whatever. This is the sound I use in this song, right?
Yeah.
And all the other stuff doesn't matter so much, right? Or this isn't satisfying me anymore, and I'm going to replace it with a different thing. Then I'm going back into that mode. I'm going to start picking apart the sounds. And am I worried about whether it's a tube screamer or a blues breaker? Then I'm I change. Now we're fixed. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a time and a place for all that stuff. My threshold for it has gotten lower over the years. So
I can't. Derek's got no time for your fucking bullshit about tube screamers.
Bullshit. Not just tube screamers. They didn't, tube screamers.
They didn't.
We were talking in the chat you know what? It's like pineapple on pizza, right? It's fun to joke about, but if you had it, it's like pretty good.
I'm afraid to say anything now. I think it's great. We order that all the time.
Here's the thing. Nickelback didn't do anything. We all just hated them because it was kind of funny. Like, what did they ever do wrong?
All they did was be a way better band than, like, many, many other bands that came around that same time. That made a lot of noise and jumped around and got in a lot of pictures.
Here's the thing, too. We were talking about this in Discord. It's not the clone's fault. It's just a pedal.
It's not
like, just
the clone's fault.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that is it, right? I mean, if we were going to pick what we complained about, though, based on whether or not it was somebody's fault, then we'd just all be complaining about Fred Durst all the time.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I could kind of go on about this, I guess.
That's a pretty good bow on that. There he is. There's the man.
The man himself.
So wait, they were arguing in the chat the whole time.
I was not reading a lot of this. Sorry.
The end of it is all of a sudden Eric is like, you know what? I like the Astro now.
I like it too. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a fine pedal. It's just not for me. Like, I have this space covered, and it's not because I have things that make this sound. It's just that, like, if I was in the market, UA would not be on the list.
Yeah, and right, and because you're not who they're marketing to.
Yeah.
You're not what they're positioning the product to appeal to. So everything's fine. They would say, "Oh yeah, this is not. You should definitely look at those other mod pedals." That's what they would say.
I've had this small clone since high school.
It's a pretty big small clone.
It's more like a big clone, am I right?
All right.
Whoa. Anyway.
So yeah, I think that's gonna about do it. We need to thing of the week up, and so I'm gonna play one more sound for you guys. Yeah, you don't know that one, do you?
I don't offhand, no.
That's the
Dr. Z?
Nope.
Oh.
I thought your cursor was my cursor again.
It was not.
Docs is fun.
What is it?
It's a Caroline.
It's another Caroline. Cool. Where's my suggestion of the week?
It's the Olympia.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Which is a fuzz, I think. I think I did that one. Anywho, I thought, I like that. I like how that little thing came out.
Sorry.
We're
Thought your cursor was my cursor. Jeez.
Google Docs, everybody. Thing of the week. Do you have something picked? I think I thought of something like 5 minutes ago, and then
what did I say earlier? The IT crowd?
I could talk about a weird VR game I played last night.
I was going to talk about a game.
It's probably not. Let's do games. Let's go do games tonight. Mine's going to be a little specific, but anyway.
Eric says groove belts, and that is on my list, but I'm not wearing it right now, so I don't want to talk about it. My thing of the week.
Sorry, I'm utterly mesmerized by the GIF where the cursor is making him blink.
It's Edward Norton, isn't it?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I am absolutely entranced by that. All right, I
Can you pull it up?
I had to put something. You want to put him on? Let's drag him in. See if this will work.
Podcast derailed. Whoa. The guy on the side blinking a bunch too is really throwing me.
It's
wow.
Right.
Anyway, my suggestion of the week.
Let's turn that right the hell off.
My suggestion of the week is Portal 1 and 2, the Companion Cube Edition. We were talking about this over in Discord today.
This is a re-release?
So the Companion Cube Edition is both Portals 1 and 2 for like $20.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, and they're basically on
that.
Yeah, they're on basically every platform. I'm playing it on Switch, which is a very fun place to play it. Yep. And if you haven't played Portal, I'm going to say, I haven't said this in a while, you're fucking up because
it's
you
true
truly
for all
are.
The Valve games, though. It
really is. It's so great. It's so fun. It's so clever. The quotes from Gladys are truly fantastic in Portal 2. We both said a lot of things you're going to regret.
This is true, right? That the first Portal, this happens a lot with Valve, right? They never set down to make a game, but like if it becomes clear that it's going to be made and actually be good, then they'll start marketing it and actually finish it, kind of thing. And so I think like Portal 1 was somebody's project. It was like mostly developed by one person.
I remember hearing that Portal 1 was like a school project or something like that, or a proof of concept, something along those lines.
Could be. Because it was early in the age of the Source engine, right? The Half-Life 2
Yeah, it's very
Source
short.
engine.
It's like a 2-hour experience. It's a very quick game. I caught this video today of people doing like speed runs and stuff with Portal 1 and trying to beat it using as few portals as possible, which is like a fun trick. And now there's this way you can like glitch the game to beat it with 0 portals.
Right, I saw that YouTube video. I hadn't gotten a chance to click on it yet because I had too much work to do. But yeah,
it's fun. You'd really enjoy it.
I would.
It's crazy.
I like all this.
That's my rec.
I once watched. I got into a YouTube hole bunch of like speed running nonsense and like old Zelda, and they do this little like pixel move at the end of the screen that warps themselves all the way across like to the next block. Like so, they do a bunch of walking across the map to get to areas you aren't supposed to be able to get to. Like so. Portal 2 is a masterpiece.
Yeah. It's funny. It's smart. It's awesome puzzle solving. Like really, it's just so good, so fun. And there's a great multiplayer component. You and a buddy can play and co-op through that. So really good.
Yeah, it's good. That's something Derek and I did many moons ago. And apparently
it was
we
like
decided it was like
more than 10 years ago. Yeah.
But apparently we did not complete it. We got stuck on one level and eventually gave up or something.
I think so.
We got stuck on one level and then had babies and.
Yeah, I think we were playing it. I think I had finally moved to New Hampshire when we were trying to finish it, and it didn't. They got way more difficult. Like our time per level was increasing a lot. And then eventually we just like
hours on one level.
Yeah, it was getting really frustrating.
The 2-player levels get really complex because there are things that you have to, you both have to be doing things at the same time sometimes, and it's quite elaborate. Fantastic game. So I'll do a game. So last night I had some downtime just to kind of recuperate, and a friend of mine gifted me a couple of small VR experience games that he thought I would really like, and I finally got around to playing them. So one of them is there's two. I guess I'll just talk about both of them as quickly as I can. Duck Season is one. That's one a lot of people have heard of. It's
it's a podcast. I don't want to read that.
Okay. Okay, so Duck Season is this fairly short game, and the premise seems to be sort of like in the 80s, like the Duck Hunt thing with the zapper gun. Everything's like debranded, and so you're playing on something that's some other word other than Nintendo, and it's not Duck Hunt, it's Duck Season. So, but it's really just, it's like cleverly presented, and you are a young kid, and his mom brings home Duck Season for a one-day rental when she comes home with the groceries, right? And he's like, yeah, and she's like, one day, make the most of it. And so each level of the game is like an hour of the day, right? So we're starting sort of in the middle of the day, and there's a clock, right? But when you pick up the gun, you're in a room and there's things everywhere and you can interact with stuff. And then you pick up the gun, you point at the TV and you say, start the level. But then you go into the TV and you're in this environment and you're holding a shotgun, and the dog is like a guy in a dog suit. And you turn around and there's a giant TV screen and little remnants of like TV tube tech around it. And you look out and you can see your living room behind you with you sitting there. And when I move my gun around, the guy behind me moves his gun. You know what I mean? It's like there's this like perspective shift of now I'm inside the game. And then you play it. You play Duck Hunt and you get to pump the shotgun, and it's this great. This is going to be spoiler free just in case anybody out there wants to play it. I highly suggest it, but then as you progress, it starts to get weird. And it's not just, you're not just playing Duck Hunt from inside Duck Hunt. Weird things happen, and it's really pretty neat. And a little bit scary in a few moments. You
had my curiosity, and now you have my attention.
Yeah.
As the saying goes.
It would be one that I could do a stream sometime where I play through, because it's not that long. And apparently there's multiple endings, so I could possibly get a different ending depending on what I do. But by the end, I was getting fed up with it, and I started shooting the dog, and he started acting weird. And I don't know if that shaped the scary things that happened, but anyway, we could try being nice and see if I get a different ending. Anyway, it's really weird. The other one is a puzzler, a little bit in the vein of Portal. It's called A Fisherman's Tale, and so in this one, it's sort of like a storybook is sort of being read to you by the narrator, but you're also participating, and you appear to be a puppet. And like the first thing you do is you kind of brush your teeth in the mirror, but the narrator's describing like each day, the fisherman made the puppet, and the puppet would do the same things as the fisherman. And each morning he would brush his teeth, and you brush your teeth, and then the story progresses, right? So when you do the right thing, you get to hear the next part of the narration. And you're in this room, and then in the center of the room is a model, and it contains a puppet. And then you kind of start to realize there's this cascading perspective going on here. So at a certain point, I take the roof off of the model house, and the roof lifts from around me.
Yes.
And I can see myself, like the puppet's matching my movements. And if I reach in there, my hand in giant form comes in above. And so a bunch of the puzzles become like, I find the right thing, but I'm not the right size, right? I find the key, but it's like tiny, and of course. And I go put it on the table in my model house, and then turn around, and there it is in big form, and now I can use it. And that continues all the way up, and it's really cool.
There's a game called Maquette that is, I think if it's a French word, I think that type of puzzle or whatever it is Maquette. And,
okay.
Or art or whatever it is. It was new on PlayStation 5 when it launched, and it was like a free title to start if you're part of their subscription thing. And I played through some of it. It's a very similar concept where like there's like the space you're in, there's 4 zones, but they're houses or something, and you can't get into them. You have to use the scale model inside versus the scale model outside, which is way huger than anything like in the game and stuff. It's awesome. Yeah, I know that type of puzzle solving. It's really clever.
So to put that into a VR scenario, right, where I'm physically moving around to the different places and manipulating things. At one point I'm needing to assemble pieces of a toy boat, but I know what's going to happen at the end of this is once I get it assembled and place it in the water, I'm going to go out to the next level. It's almost like Inception-like. I'm going to go out and find that it's standing there behind me in a size suitable for me. But to get the pieces, I'm using a crane to reach down and pull them out of the water in this tiny little pool. But as I lower the crane down, of course, the giant crane hook comes down above me. And so I'm like using the levers to physically swing the crane hook into place. And I'm looking off to my left while I do it. And there's a point where it mirrors too, like, and it's no longer 1-to-1, but it's reversed. So now I have to sort of like find the right spot on the wrong side of the room, and I'm placing something here, and then turning around to look, is the puppet's hand going in the right spot when I do this? And it was really, really neat. So anyway, I enjoyed this very much.
I love that. What is that one called?
A Fisherman's Tale.
Okay.
They're both quite short. I mean, I did them both, and really taking my time. I did them both in a couple of hours. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go downstairs and play some Portal. I don't know about you.
I'm actually going to probably sleep. Okay, so we have nothing left but to thank our patrons and chase this out. So if you like the show, you know what to do. You go to find us on Patreon and you can become a supporter. Patreon.com/theToneControl will bring you right there, and that's it. And you can join Discord for free, discord.io/ToneControl. And it's a great way to be. And there are many tiers on Patreon. I'm realizing now that we have all this stuff set up, I should really shorten the spiel. So
we don't need to give the spiel the whole time or every time, I think.
Yeah. Like join Patreon to support the show. There are many tiers. They involve perks.
Eric says it's free, but you get bullied into being a patron.
Okay.
Not exclusively
That's fine.
true.
It's a good idea. I mean, I really feel like we should take his idea and run with it.
There's patron levels from $1 all the way up to $10 if you're feeling mighty generous.
Or if you want to join the competition of who can pledge the most, which seems to be going on right now.
That is true. All Patreon levels get a shout out at the end of our episode, and those people are... am I doing it?
No, I'll do it.
Okay,
those people are Nick Greenwood, Carson Ricketts, Matthew Fenslaw, Ryzen Wolf, Jamie Evans, Jeffrey Wright, Doug King, Big Daddy Doug, Righteous Ryan Johnson, Steve Huffman, Jonas Sabatini, Chris, apparently, Brian Gower of the Tone Jerks podcast, Mako Guitars, Andrew Walsh of Andrew's Alcove, Doug Christ of 37 Effects, Sean Wright of Lollygagger Effects. And I'm checking my page scroll to make sure I didn't miss anything.
That's it. That's everybody.
That's it. All right. Hey. All right. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.